Hi everyone, this is Rhea Marcel, and I have another episode of Beyond the Runway. Today I'm going to be interviewing Janice The Diva. I'm so excited to be interviewing her. I've known Janice, okay, she just came on, great. I've known Janice for over, I think it's 4 or 5 years now. We met at one of our modeling training programs, Model University, and during that time, I'm sorry, I took my allergy medicine, so I'm a little bit like it's kicking in now. But during that time, we had an assignment where we had to go on live and we had to interview each other. And I remember that I believe Janice was one of my partners, and it was definitely good practice. And that gave me a chance to actually do interviewing and realize that that was a love that I have. So tonight we're going to be talking about Janice. She has been modeling for a few years, and she has a lot of wisdom to provide us. So I'm going to bring her on right now. Okay, she should be coming in soon. Let's see.
Hey,
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 how are you?
hey, Trey, how are you? Can
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
All
How you
right,
feeling?
good. It's been a long day, but I'm here.
And thank
A
you
long
so much.
weekend. How you doing?
Yeah, good. You're always booked and busy and on the go.
Exactly.
Are you at a casting right now or?
I finished one. I had one today, so I went straight from church to the casting. The casting started at 3, and I left about 10 minutes to 6.
Wow,
So
wow,
so
wow.
it was a little more to it after the casting. They did some other things. So yes, it was interesting. It was fun. It was fun though. It was fun.
Good, good. So let's just jump right into it because I know your time is precious. So how did you get into modeling?
I got into modeling. Well, long story short, when I was younger, people would tell me when I was in, I guess, high school or so, that they said I had a bad walk or a nice walk, and I was like, okay, but I always thought I was too big because the models we saw were always tall and slim and other complexion. So I never even thought about it. And then after I got older, had gone to college, did a little bit in college, just for fun. I came back home and did something with a friend, and the two friends of mine saw an ad in the newspaper where Barbizon School of Modeling was looking for full figure models or plus models. So at that time, I was less full figure than I am now, but I signed up for it and I took the class, and it was about 7, 8 months worth of training. I completed that. And so that's how I got into modeling, because my girlfriends called me and said, hey, we saw this and you need to try this because you have that walk. And so I was looking through some information I found, and I got my graduation certificate from Barbizon in 1991.
Oh, you put the year out there. Okay now.
And we know what year this is now. So that's when I started in 1991, and also got best runway model that year. Out of
Oh wow.
all the classes, because that was the first time they had the plus model class, and then after that they started a mature sort of mature models, and then they always of course had the young kids all the way up. So that was about the first time that they gave that. Well, I got that award out of all of the people who attended the class, the training.
Oh, pretty amazing. Do you still have any connections with Barbizon? Like I think
No,
when you go to
no,
their program.
no, that
Okay.
was, like I said, way back in the day. So once I completed the program, I signed with their agency. That was out of Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm from. So I signed with their agency, and I also was an instructor for them
Okay.
for a while. So I was an instructor for them, and normally had plus size models, but on occasion I would sub for the younger children or the tweens. But since that time, no, not since I moved to Maryland.
Okay. 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 Uh, so you've been modeling since like 91. What has kept you motivated and passionate?
Good question. Good question. I think one thing that I really enjoyed, I really like runway. I've done other types of modeling other than runway, but I do like runway. Also, I'm pretty good at it, not to be conceited, but I enjoy it. It's like you get to be another person, going to another realm depending on what fashions you wear. But I think the main thing lately because I have grown since then, got a fluffier. I am older, but I have had people tell me sometimes after a show that they were inspired or because they saw me on the runway. I remember once a lady said, I didn't even want to come to this particular show because I knew the clothes wouldn't fit me or not for my type of person.
Right.
And after she saw me, she said, now that I saw you out there and we had a similar build, she says, I think I see I can wear those type of clothes now. Also, I've been to castings, and when I left, I got selected, or I at least made the first cut, I'll say. And I had some ladies that were my age, maybe a little younger, said, we were rooting for you. We were hoping that you made the cut. So I think it's inspiring in a roundabout way that someone in my age, my build, whatever you want to call it, is still out there, still out there doing it. So that's why I still do it too, because if somebody can see that, I'm not going to shy away, or I can do something, I can do that, or look, she's out there, I can do it too. That's why I still hang in there and do it.
And you,
And I think,
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
No, I'm
ahead.
done. Go ahead.
I was going to say you've definitely been out there. Can you name some of the shows that you've done or designers that you've walked for?
The last big show that I did that was locally was Runway for a Cure DC show, and I wore J. Bree Designs and EET Fashions, and I've done that show about the last 3 years or so, and also have modeled in the last 3 seasons of New York Fashion Week. Of course, not the main shows, but some of the other shows support. So I've worn NYC Diva. I've modeled with Ray Darton. I've modeled with Bella Curves. I modeled with Ashley Stewart. I did something for them back in 2017. Also, just a lot of different people. I'm trying to think of a lot of them right now. Actually, I have them written down somewhere, but I actually have done for a variety of people. Also, Cecilia J Fashion, so different people in the area where I am in DMV, but then also outside of the area when going to New York. The massive collection, so different people.
Good, good, good. All right. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced throughout your modeling career?
I would say the biggest challenges when I first started, I was the smallest of the plus size. So I always had to pin up everything, but it was not, it was fun then, and I was on a smaller scale. It was something new, so we were sort of a novelty at the time. Then went through a period after I moved here where that was way before Instagram and all of that. I know I went to some agencies and they said, well, some of our clients want to see people that remind them of themselves when they were younger. That was not me. So then I got married and life started life, and as they say.
Yes.
Afterwards, I took a long break. So from, golly geez, I moved up here in 95. So basically from 95 until 2017, I really didn't do a lot of modeling. And Ashley Stewart came out with Finding Ashley Stewart 2017, and that's when I started. And I almost stopped myself because, as I said, people, like, you're not quite tall enough. You're too big, you're too this, you're too that. But I kept going, and I actually, out of 60, 70 people I think that tried, I made the cut of the top
Oh
12.
wow.
And so that inspired me to keep going. And so I would say the biggest issues
Sorry.
right now is that the perception, and you will know too when you go for a casting. I've often been to castings and they think I'm a mom, and they'll go like, just walk past and don't say anything, and then they finally go like, are you here with someone? And I say, no, I'm here for the casting. And they go like, oh. So I would say my size, I'm like a little, maybe an inch or so too short to make a cut a lot of times based on what they want to do. Like the 5'9", I'm just like a half an inch or too short. Also, being plus size can be a hindrance because of that. Now I understand why, but it's hard to sometimes find modeling opportunities to be in plus size. Also, being mature. I'm happy to say that I'm fierce and fun at 61. I turned 61 last
Oh,
month. So
okay.
also,
Happy belated birthday. Yes,
thank
yes.
you.
Fierce and fun at 61.
Yes,
You're going to have to make that a tagline.
yes. So it's often the perception of a mature model, or that, I don't know if it's we don't wear clothes. We don't want to look fashionable. But I would say those three things. If I was a little taller, I would appreciate it. And the being a plus size and also being a mature model would be some of the things that I can see in the industry for me that can be a hindrance.
Definitely, definitely. Julia is here on the live, so I just wanted to say, hey, Julia, I haven't seen you. I feel like it's been about a year or so, so thank you for joining in. Um,
Hey, Julia. Hey,
what are
Julia.
some skills you've developed over the years that you never expected to learn?
One thing I would say is from my training way back in the day with Barbizon was how to stand in terms of pose. So you have your right model stance, left model stance, certain things we learn how to do walking and posing, your posture and how to use that. So when I take pictures all the time, I always am in one of those model stances. And I've had people say like, oh, look at you in the picture. How do you like that? And I say it's because I'm in a model stance. So how to carry yourself better. I have learned things about applying makeup and also with fashion and what I call at one time I was doing a little bit of image consulting. So just how to be aware of what you look like, what your body type is, and then understand how to dress, accessorize, do things that's best for who you are and what you look like. Because a lot of times, and I find myself doing this, I'll see people and I go like, I could just a little change in the outfit, a little change with hair or something can make a totally different look could take years off of your appearance or add years if that's what you want to do. So I would think just an overall having a presence and knowledge about some of the things in fashion, how to dress yourself, how to carry myself, and also being out there, I'm not really a shy person, but just being out there and being able to convey things to people, to emote things to people, and just, be around and be a presence.
Definitely, definitely. And I feel like people think modeling is all about, you're wearing clothes for the designers, but like you develop so much as a person, right?
Right.
Whether it's learning that image is everything. And when you're
Correct.
out there and people realize you're a model, they're judging your looks even harder, right? Is
Yes.
her nails done? Is her makeup on? Why her hair look like that? So
Yep.
like image is number one and you always have to present
Exactly.
yourself.
Yes. And you never know who could be around. You never know who's looking. I mean, sometimes you don't
Yes.
want to be full effect all the time, but when you're certain places, or especially like in model calls or something, you just want to be aware. It help. I think it also caused me to be a bit more outgoing. Modeling is the reason I found out about Instagram. So
It
hey,
keeps you trendy and current, definitely. And
yeah,
Julia just put
exactly.
in the chat, she admires you so much.
Oh, thank you,
Please stop
Julia.
modeling.
No,
And
you're not
Julia,
too old.
no, please. I hope you decide to come back because you were really good. No,
Yes.
I mean, I saw something where like I think one of the models for Rihanna is an older black woman with long, beautiful gray hair. I
Mm-hmm.
think she's like 60 or 70 years old. So you're never too old.
No.
You just have to find the designers that want to work with you and your look. You
Exactly.
know, it
Exactly.
may it may take a little work, but it's definitely out there.
Yes, it
So
does.
how do you balance the demands of your career with your personal life?
I try to. My family fusses at me, but I'm always a lot of times on the lookout for castings. So during work day, I'm work for the federal government. Who knows? I might have more time, but we're not gonna claim that. We're not
we're
gonna
gonna
claim
we're
that.
gonna leave that alone. I
We're
think
not gonna.
any one of us, it don't matter what area
We're
of
not
work
gonna
we're
claim that
in.
one. Hallelujah. But so
The
so
Lord is
doing.
gonna provide. We're gonna leave it
Amen.
at that.
Amen. But I try to be aware, especially during the seasons in February and September. I know that's when they have New York Fashion Week. And then there are other fashion weeks. I was in Philly Fashion Week one year and also aware of what's going on in my area. So I always kind of on the lookout, checking social media. And we have groups, and each of us, I will say the model community I joined with Model Behavior University, we keep up with each other, send each other information. So basically, when during the day, my 7:30 to 5. I try to take care of work, but then after that, I'm trying to be on the lookout for different things, posting, trying to be current to some degree, being on the lookout for what's advertising, looking, considering other avenues. So basically, that's how I handle it. For instance, today the casting I went to was somewhat near where I went to go to church. So I had an hour to church and then 30 minutes or so there. But I try to fit things in where they work and also make sure that I'm not wasting my time. If at all possible, a lot of times I will inquire as to whether or not they are casting plus models or if it's what type of open call it is, what it is, and then base it accordingly so that when I go that everything has a flow and try to do it that way. But because I enjoy doing it and fits it in with a lot of other things, it does take a little juggling at times. So I keep a calendar. I have a couple of calendars that I keep.
No, the calendar is definitely important because you'll have seasons where it's kind of quiet, and then others where you're like, okay, I can't go to this casting because I have a show. So let me figure out if
Right.
I email them, will they work with me?
Yes.
So you kind of have to juggle it out a little bit. And I
Exactly.
think something that you were saying a little bit a while ago was that, like, it's so important, I think, just to keep pushing yourself. And like you're always looking, you're always making sure you're not missing any opportunities. And I feel like for some models, sometimes they get kind of complacent. Like they're not searching
Right.
for those opportunities. Like it's not going to just be at your doorstep.
Right.
So, like,
And a lot of
what
times,
is,
go ahead.
I was going to say, what are some places that you look for castings?
I look on Instagram. I look on Facebook. I look on Eventbrite. I look pretty much those places. I'm not on TikTok that much, but those particular places, and so I there are a lot of entities that I follow,
Okay.
and so I will periodically check to see what they have, and then, as I stated, other models. Sometimes we forward things to other people. I just was on Eventbrite the other day, and I found some castings that I did not see through those other avenues, but I did find those there, and so I was able, I believe, to submit to one or two. So those are the main ways that I try to keep up with what's going on in the area. Um, that's basically, social media is pretty much the way now. So those are the ways that I keep up with everything that's going on and try to reach out. And then some that if I don't see anything from them, because I have either applied in the past or maybe have worked with them in the past, I sometimes will reach out to them. Some people, for instance, with New York Fashion Week, don't do both seasons; they just do one season. So I've sort of
Yes.
learned that this particular designer only showcases in the fall, or this one only in the spring. But you can't wait till that time. You have to kind of start early to check out and see what's going on.
You're right. Starting early is definitely important. Definitely. So, if you could go back and give your younger self some advice, what would you say?
I would say don't don't tell yourself no. Don't automatically tell yourself a no. So, meaning that if I were to see something, and actually that's what I did years ago. I saw something and I said, oh, I counted myself out from the jump. It was Ashley Stewart that had something the year before the one I went. So I automatically went, I'm not tall enough. They don't usually for print modeling. They don't usually have someone my size, so I'm not tall enough. I'm too big, and they don't usually have people my age. So I gave myself three no's without even applying for anything, and I didn't apply. The next year came around, they had a different campaign, and I started thinking the same way. And then I was like, what the heck? What does it hurt? I have the time. I'm in the area. The first leg of that particular campaign was in Baltimore. So I said, what the heck? Might as well do it. It only cost me a little gas. And, if they say no, fine, I'll keep going. And that's the one that I went to. And out of the 70, they picked 12, and I was one of the top 12. So basically, don't negate myself. Just go for it. Everyone has a different opinion. Like we say, one look somebody doesn't like or designer may not like, but somebody else will. You just never know, and just keep going. Just keep going, and don't count yourself out from the beginning. Just keep going. Don't give yourself a no before anybody even saw you or before you
That's
even
true.
try.
That's true. Sometimes we can definitely get in our own way, And I think doubt and fear creep in. And when you're doing something that goes against the grain, so to speak, because in the
Yeah.
fashion industry, everyone is a little bit younger, starting off, especially runway. So when you hit a certain age, you say, "Oh, well, let me just wrap it up because it's over." But I feel like you just got to keep going.
Right. And
Definitely.
actually, the casting today, I guess maybe 25 or so of us showed up. I was the oldest. I was the fluffiest. Was not the shortest though. And when they got done doing the basic, everybody wears black casting, then they said we want a certain some of you to stay behind. We want to see some more. So I was one of the ones that got called to stay. And then what they wanted us to do was try on some of the clothes so they could see what we look like in the clothes and had us walk again. So that made me feel good. So that's why it took about 3 hours or so instead of, I thought I would, was not expecting that, but it was a nice surprise. So even then, being the oldest and the largest and not the tallest, I was hanging in there with the youngins. So, so I
It
guess.
keeps you young. It keeps you young.
And I did get a compliment from one of the ladies. She's like, I just love you. I said, thank you so much. I said, I'm trying to live up to my slogan for this year and hang in there. So she said, I appreciated the compliment. And that just also helps me know to just keep going, because you never know. If I had stopped and said, oh, they're going to be this and that, but I kept going and did it. So that's all you can do.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up here. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I like to say thank you, Drea, for inviting me. I had planned to be somewhere else for this, so the light would be better, but like I wouldn't have made it home in time, so I just had to stop where I was and do this. But I thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it. I wish you much success for what you're doing and everything and your moves that you made since we first met each other. And hope to see you again soon on the runway. But thank you
Yes.
again. I wish you much success, and I thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. Thank
And
you. And
yeah.
where can the people follow you?
I am on Instagram, Janice the Diva, JaniceTheDiva. And on Facebook, I'm Janice Horton Rainsbury. And I don't remember what it is on TikTok, but that's how you can find me.
Well, you're not on there
You
anyway, so
ain't.
we'll just do
I'm just a
Facebook
little
and
bit on there, a little
Instagram.
bit. So that's where you can find me. And I'm in the what they call the DMV area. But I do travel. So if anybody's watching and needs a fluffy model, I do go up and down the East Coast a little bit. But that's how you can find me. And wishing everyone a wonderful 2025. It's only just begun.
Woo. January was a long month.
I've heard somebody say the year of January. So.
Yes, it was. It was. But thank you so much for your time. Hopefully, we'll see each other on the runway. And you have a blessed evening. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
dear. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.